I did a video 3 days ago about how I'm pushing these okra seeds to get my seeds. And into that video, the focus was cutting the main top off so it wouldn't produce any more okra, cut off all the leaves so all the energy will go to the pod to say to the plant, it's time to make these seeds, it's over. So I've noticed a change in color of the okra pods from dark green, and even these are changing. The color's changing on majority of them. From a distance, I could tell yesterday that it was changing onto all of them. Some have started drying out, which just looks a little weird, but see, they're still, they're not dried. And then we could tell over here how the color is changing. So just about every one now is changing. I mean, they're all changing. I could tell the color. A lot of them is dried out. So these right here, I'll let them dry out and go ahead and cut these off. I don't want to store them with any dampness because it created a mold. So all these on here have just gone ahead and died out. Definitely from a distance, I could tell that these okra pods are now turning into, they're drying out. They're turning into seeds. Or they already are seeds, but they're turning to a drying stage. So we harvest bell peppers. This is a California Wonder, and they need to be staked up, honestly. They have broke a lot of limbs off of them. But I harvest, that was overfilling yesterday. And I cut them up this morning and put them into the freezer. But I did notice, if I can find one on here, uh-oh, there's an insect I don't want to see on there. They're on there. That's why I come out early in the morning and look. But I noticed the outer layer of the bell pepper is getting hard. So what that's telling me, that this plant also is getting to the place, it's probably going to stop making as much blooms. It's getting to a place, it's saying to itself, because when you have little ones like that to start, this one's more tender, but when you have little ones that start doing that, it's just getting itself prepared to make seeds. That one's getting harder. That is hard. That was hard. These are the little ones. I cut as much off of them as I could. I don't see as many blooms. I'm sure there's some going to come on there. Now these things would have been huge if I staked them up like I should have. Staked them up and then, you know, kept a lot of the branches did break off. But I've got tons of bell peppers off of 2 plants. You see the ground is dry. I'm not doing anything to it. I haven't fertilized it since spring. And that's because there's plenty of nutrients into the soil. We're getting into the end of September. And so there's nutrients into the soil. And, you know, besides just throwing more nutrients, it's not going to take it all up. And then the rains come and wash it away. As long as the plant is producing and doing good. And there's that insect. So, yeah, they weren't on there yesterday, but that's how it goes. As long as the plant's doing good. Now, if it was earlier into the season, so that thing's just all bowed over. If it was early in the season, and staking them up and fertilize them, it might have made bigger bell peppers. But as long as I was getting all the bell peppers I need, I was cool with it. But you can look at the leaves now. The leaves are showing signs that it's getting to the end of its cycle. And even the insects know it's getting, you know, the fruit is ready, it's harvest getting near the end, and then they'll start getting onto the plants. So we harvested these bell peppers there. We'll continue to harvest them as much as possible, as long as the plant holds itself. And two is that those leaves are showing a sign of dryness. So a good watering would do great. These plants right here will come down in a couple weeks anyhow, so I'm not going to be really worried about that. I'm going to be cutting them down, and I'm going to let these that's on there grow and get them off of there. Then I'll be cutting them down. So we went ahead and trimmed our grapevines here. This year's focus was just to get these grapevine plants just running. And we can tell by the leaves the season is over. But this morning I went ahead and trimmed a lot of growth off. So these have done wonderful this year, getting them going. Now next year we'll be focusing on more trying to get some grapes. This end down here, the soil on this section of this plot here is a lot different, and it slopes down. So most of the topsoil has been washed off, and then we step right into sand and sort of some clay. That one died. You see all the grass. I don't worry about it. I take and, you know, take the weed eater every now and then, because grass is not bad. I mean, as long as it's not overtaken, it kind of helps cover those roots, because right now we're into a dry season again, and I believe that's what happened to that one right there, because it's drier back here. It's more sandier. So this year we're not going to be trimming the fruit orchard. I trimmed it last year. That one right there, it was moved. It still hung on. We'll see how it gets through when the sap runs down. That right there needs to be trimmed off. But this is the wild plum, and I moved it near from the garden because it was going to be in the way of the tractor, and it just made sense to go ahead and move it. And if it made it, it made it. If it didn't, it didn't. So we see all the leaves are changing now. We did get peaches off this peach tree. This one didn't make it. It did good one year, but that's just how it goes. Sometimes that sap can go down, and then once it goes down, sometimes the tree doesn't make it for the next season. These are our pear trees. Walked out here, I was walking to the back field back there, and then I was walking back here and I looked on the ground and there was a pear. This is a Kieffer pear, Kieffer, and it had a pear onto it. I mean, it fell to the ground. I was walking through, I saw it, picked it up, and started eating it, and it was more like a canning pear, and that's what I wanted. I like canning pears. This is the wild plum here, and it did pretty good as far as growing. It, you know, it didn't get root shock. It was planted, they was transplanted a little bit later, so it did create transplant shock onto the other one. And that's my sensors going off. So this is a plum tree. We haven't got any plums yet. Japanese beetles stay away. So, and then down here's our apple trees. I did see one apple tree last year. And need do a little bit of work in here. Here we see some fig trees that's growing. Now, fig trees like a lot of water. And this area back here is just not getting the right amount of water. And I used to bring a water hose out here, run lots of water hoses and get them out here and water these trees. And I haven't done it. This one right here about died out. You might not make it this season because it will hit the season where it's really dry. So we're not going to trim this is a wild plum right there. We're not going to prune these trees this year. This is a wild plum. It's been here forever, ever. And the hurricane blew it down. And it was a lot bigger. This is just a piece of it branched off. And I cut the deadness off and left that, and it's, you know, it's still going. It did produce some plums. This wild plum did produce some plums, but the birds got them. I was hoping I'd get to this water system this year, trying to figure out where the water source is at. Then I come out here and it just dawned on me I could have put a little cap on that. Usually keep it covered up. Dirt dauber up in there. That's gonna be a mess. So ants all down in here. Came out here and scraped around. I came out here just since it doesn't look like I'm gonna be able to get to it. Unfortunately, when I see that dirt dauber in there, that was my default of making sure it's not covered up. But then I was like, man, I don't know. So I came out here to put that over it for winter's coming here, and I had planned on getting to it, and I guess that's why it was uncovered, or maybe I took the bucket because of hurricane or some reason or another. So, but this will have been the water season to my fruit trees. If I could just figure out, I think I figured out where the water source will come from. And of course, the lines run up under the ground. But now, I don't know. The only thing I know is take maybe a pressure washer, maybe blow that out. I don't know, I'd probably blow it down. So, maybe next year we'll be working on this. Might have to take it off and, I don't know, it's copper pipe, so I think they take it off and redo it. But if we could ever get this going here, it was like it got caught on fire. If we ever get this going, then I wouldn't have a problem getting these plants watered out here. That would be nice to get my trees really watered, because fruit, plum trees, yeah, them too. Fig trees grow, they like water. And I put a tiny one, about 6 inches into the greenhouse, and it's as big as that one right there now. I had to dig it up and put it in a container. And that's just grew like the last 4 or 5 months. Now, the one in the greenhouse. So I'm gonna go get my clippers, if I can find them. Whoppers, and take and cut some of this growth out up under here, this grapevine. Burn this up in there. Try to cut some of it out. Leave the oldest growth in there. You see those little latches there. This used to be where a chicken pen gate used to be. And so that railroad tire was used as part of the gate. And then the grapevine was placed at the chicken pen so it would get the fertilizer from the chickens.